hands. Gun hands. Better fucking freeze. Hold it. Hold it. Woo. It is time. Time to have a smoke. And a joke. That's if you had the heart to pull that trigger. Oh, you don't think so? You want to test me? Test me. Come on. Think I ain't got the heart? Let's see. Come on, dude. You can't look at me and know that I'm a guy that's down to catch a body if I need to. Okay? You can't tell that by looking at my exterior. That on the interior it's stone cold. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yep. Long chopper. That bitch said 32 passengers.
One of the disappointing things about real guns is like those big clips, they only last a couple seconds. It's not like movies where you can go like
Yeah, I mean you can, it just doesn't really do much.
yeah.
If you think about it, there's some very rare situations in which doing that would be
Advisable.
right, like you are facing a tree line that is filled with enemies and you're trying to cover for people, you know, keep their heads down while somebody else flanks. But as far as like just being a Billy badass and walking out there with two machine guns, like that doesn't happen.
It goes like 2 seconds and it just you're out.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I mean, depending. So, I'm not a big gun guy, especially on military guns. But you like the difference between an assault rifle and a light machine gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
An assault rifle's got a clip. I don't know how many they put in an extendo clip, but a light machine gun can be belt or drum fed, meaning there can be hundreds of rounds of ammo, like maybe 100 or 200 rounds. Just they're meant for sustained fire.
But they're also kind of stationary because they're so goddamn
They're
big.
heavy as fuck, right? Yeah. Exactly. Good point. You can get a drum mag for an AK. My little brother has one. Aren't those illegal though? Well, anyway.
You ain't the ATF.
True. I mean, I'm not trying. Yeah, I'm not the ATF. You're right.
I'm gonna get some coffee started.
It's legal. Semi. Oh, okay. Semi-automatic. You're right, Paul. We need to put pressure on politicians to create a viable left-wing party. No, we don't. We do not need to put pressure on our politicians to do it because there's no amount of pressure that will cause the current crop of politicians to unseat themselves from power and create a new paradigm. We have to do it ourselves. This idea that we can just petition the government is over now, and there's a lot of people still holding on to that idea that if we just elect Joe Biden one more time, then, you know, maybe we'll get to get our grievances addressed here. That's not the way it works, guys. We're on our own. We're on our own, and anything that we want to try and do to improve our conditions is going to have to be outside of that power network. We're not allowed in those halls, okay? So, yeah, we're going to have to do it ourselves. We're going to have to take it, is what I'm saying, because they're not going to give it. So we're going to have to take it. That's just the way it works, buddy. Sorry to tell you. Would that it were the other way. Would that we had a fucking functional democracy, right? Where when the vast majority of people, or even a fucking simple majority of people, stand up and say no more genocide, no more war, the government goes like, all right, okay, you know, that would be great. I mean, ideally that's what you want, but we ain't got that, and we won't have that from within the halls of power. We're gonna have to yank that power away from them, because they've divested us of that power over the last 30, 40 years. They've acted like they've forgotten the mass protest movements of the 60s and early 70s. They've forgotten the civil rights movement. They've forgotten the anti-war movement around Cambodia and Vietnam. They've forgotten. We've allowed them to get complacent with the power, right? Because they think that they have circumnavigated our greatest tool against them, which is mass protest. They have not. They have not. They want us to think that they have. They will send every bit of their messaging out to let you know that staying home is what you should do, and that these protests are pointless, and that doesn't even matter anyway because President Joe Biden is not gonna fucking change his mind about Gaza. So these LARPing kids may as well just stay home. They'll do anything they can to delegitimize this. Why? Because they fear it. They fear a mass protest movement of the people that they rule over more than anything on this planet. Okay? They fear us more than they fear Putin. They fear us more than they fear Xi Jinping. They fear us because we are the only thing that can hold them to account. We have to go along. They have no power. See, this is one of those things you need to remind yourself of, because we live at a time of massive gulfs between power and not having power, right? But you need to fucking remember, dude, these motherfuckers still to this day, okay, don't have a scintilla of power without us. We are the living representation of that power. When they want to project that power, who do they send? They send us. When they want to flex that power economically, who do they crack the whip on? Us. We forget. They're vested with enormous power. Enormous, unbelievable, unimaginable power. And I feel like that's all people focus on. But power has to come from somewhere. Where does their power come from? Me, you, us. The consent of the governed. And if we all stand up and tell them no more, there's nothing they can do about it. They fear us. They fear us. That's why the cops show up. That's why the cops show up with the beatdown sticks and the pepper balls and everything. Every time a few of us get together to call the government out on its shit. That's why they do it. They want you to see that as a person and go like, ooh, I'm staying home. You're not going to hear this kind of fucking rhetoric out of a lot of leftists, out of electoralists, because they are bought and sold into this paradigm. where they believe that empowering these people and then just going along with it like, oh, well, I mean, what can you do? There's two choices. That type of shit is the most devaluing, depowering, anti-labor sentiment I've ever heard in my life, and it's coming out of leftists. It's coming out of people on the fucking political left where all the power rests. Come on. And how long do I gotta be here saying it? Right? Time to call. I need to chill. This shit gets me fired up, though. This shit gets me fired up, and you guys know, those of you that have been watching me, I've been saying this shit for a long time. This is not some new leaf I've turned over, okay? This is my politics. People power is my politics, okay? As I'm sitting here and ranting into the ether with you guys about this, Israel is invading Rafah. I don't know if you guys have been following what's going on there, but in the shadow of this possible ceasefire, Israel is moving forward and sieging Rafah city in Gaza, which has been one of the only places they've told people to go and be safe. So the genocide continues. The genocide ramps up, enters a new gear today as we're sitting here and talking about how we're the only people that can stop this. These motherfuckers will carry it until there's not a Palestinian left. Let me say this to you directly, okay? Because, and I mean this, okay? Young people, you don't have to listen to me after this, okay? If this makes you roll your eyes, you can leave right after this sentence, okay? These people have no decency. They have no sense of humanity left in them. They are hollow on the inside like automatons, okay? We are their conscience. We, and when I say we, I mean every man, woman, and child that's not vested in that government power. We are their conscience. Without us, they are murder robots. You see what they do when we try and stop them from murdering people overseas, they try and murder us here. We are their conscience, and we are the basis and source of their power. And if you don't know that right now, and if you're looking at the system, by the way, the system that they created in order to keep power vested in this false duopoly, if you're looking at that system and going, nothing we can do, you're a cuck. And you're a loser. Because the only thing we can do is reform that system. People will tell you your political power doesn't include tearing down the system. Your political power doesn't exist without tearing down the system. That is all the power that you have. The power to stand in the National Mall with 3 million people and say, no justice, no peace, until you're hoarse. And these motherfuckers can no longer send the Trunchians, no longer send the goon squad, and they have to face you. And then at that point they go, okay, I guess the Vietnam War can end. All of a sudden it's possible. That's all the power you have. The voting booth gives you no power. None. People trying to sell you like there's great fucking mystical power in the voting booth are liars, cheaters, swindlers, and people that have been duped by the duopoly. The only power you have is your willingness to stand up and say, nope. Not on my dollar, not on my watch. And that's it. Your power ends there. You're a soft, defenseless ape without the rest of us. But you put us all together, unstoppable, change the face of this planet. But we have to get together, and we have to do it now. When the fucking shit gets this egregious, we have to do it. If we let it slide, if we let this become just another incursion that everybody talks about for a couple of years and then forgets happened, they're gonna do it again. They're gonna loot somewhere else. They're gonna do another genocide. They are going to continue to export misery and death and destruction unless you stop them. And it's not the ballot box that you stop them, because there isn't an anti-fascist at the ballot box. What do I recommend specifically? I recommend you start thinking about for how long and when you can go join one of these protests. I've been looking at it. There's not a giant one going on near me, but I can take a 3-hour drive to a really big Palestinian protest right now. And I'm thinking about when and how I can do that. That's step one. That's step one, because you're not the only one having that thought. There might be 100 or 200 motherfuckers going like, I gotta get out there. Okay, that's step one. Step two, you gotta be ready for the next step. You've gotta be ready to take it from a campus protest in your area to a national mall protest. Okay? Those are your 2 steps right now. That's what you should be doing, in my opinion. No offense, but where's your bullhorn then? Right here. I'm speaking to 92 people. By the end of this, probably 120 people. This is my bullhorn. Welcome. You're in my bullhorn. I'm talking to more people than you could call on your phone in 5 fucking hours right now. That's my bullhorn, motherfucker. Where's yours? No offense, but where's your bullhorn? We'll throw that back in your face. This is public. This is live. This is me. My name is Paul Parkey. I'm telling you what I think. All 86 and more of you. I'm telling you what I think. Where's your bullhorn? Where's your voice at? We need them all. You see what I'm saying, guys? Am I making sense here? Because sometimes I worry that it makes sense here and not here. I feel like it makes sense. Am I making sense? I have to check in sometimes. Good. Then think about it. Okay? Think about it. Fired up and a little turned on. Okay. Well, those 2 things are connected. Passion is passion, right? I'm glad that you guys think I'm making sense, honestly. And I'm sorry to have to check in on that. I'm not looking for a back pat. I just want to know I'm being heard. Yeah? Are you even allowed to attend the protest if you aren't a student? Absolutely. University campuses are public places. You can walk right onto a university campus and talk to people and whatever you want, okay? So absolutely. You're not barred from state public university campuses at all. It does, but I don't think they will care unless the protesters turn violent. See, that's just not true, man. So the civil rights protests, now I'm not saying that like the civil rights era and the anti-Vietnam War era was completely and utterly bloodless. There were riots, there was violence, but by and large, the movement was entirely peaceful. Okay? The leader of that movement, at least the civil rights side of that movement, Martin Luther King, preached nonviolence, and he taught his followers how to do sit-ins, how to nonviolently resist. And that is how the Vietnam War era was ended. That is how the civil rights era was ushered in. Not at the point of a sword, not because of some giant unstoppable riot, but because a million or more people descended on the National Mall and said they weren't going to leave until the government listened to them. And the government did, right? That's nonviolence. So I'm not here preaching that you go grab a gun and start cracking heads or whatever. That's stupid. That's how you play into the hands of the authoritarians. Because then they've got the reason to crack down on you. That's stupid. If you're just sitting there and they're beating on you, look, that's where the violence happened a lot during the civil rights era. The cops versus the people protesting. You have to be willing to take a lump. Get your skull cracked, get your teeth busted. These cops will kick you right in the mouth. They don't care. But they can't kick 2 million people in the mouth. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Anyway. Hello. Oh man, I'm fired up. Fired up is the term that I'm looking for. I just want to like I feel mad. I feel really angry. I feel like getting in a fucking punch up with the cops or being just my heart and my soul is in that place where we're all coming together. Right now I feel it. I feel the need to go and do justice. You ever feel that pull on you? You just feel like you're spinning your wheels in the mud and there's something egregious happening right outside your front door and you just want to stop it. You're just tired of everybody pretending that it's not happening on their front porch and locking themselves away in their house and cranking their Netflix up and shit. Man, I'm feeling that right now. I'm feeling that right now. I'm feeling that feeling of just that fucking finger pointing at me going, what are you doing? Are you gonna sit there and listen? I feel like people are just so beaten down now, man, and it breaks my heart. Honestly, to put all the fucking anger aside, when I hear a young person talking about how you got no choice but the Democrats, how you got no choice but to climb the same fucking Sisyphus ladder to nowhere that your parents have been on their whole fucking lives and your grandparents died on. When I hear that, ultimately the reason I get angry is because of the talk I just had with you guys. Because my heart is so filled with passion and the knowledge that together, you, I, and everybody can make phenomenal change on the face of this planet. We just have to remember that power. And when I see somebody talking and funneling young people into that meat grinder, where they're telling them that the best thing you can do is subvert everything you know to be true and right and vote for a man like Joe Biden, it breaks my heart. Really, that's why anger is pain, okay? When I get mad like that at a person or at a group or at a community, it's not because I fucking hate that person, not really. It's because I'm so sad that that person doesn't feel that spark that I feel. Because I know, say what you want, I'm a doomer when it comes to American politics sometimes, but I know I've never forgotten the truth that you put together 1 million, 2 million, 3 million people, that's an unstoppable force that meets the immovable object. Okay? We have to get there though. And you're not going to get there at the ballot box. You're not going to get there by subverting your political fucking conscience by voting for a warmongering genocidal maniac and wringing your hands about the other warmongering genocidal maniac when really there's not that much of a gulf of difference between them. That's the problem we have to confront, is that there is not an obvious answer, somebody with a heart, somebody with a conscience saying we're going to stop this, and somebody saying we're going to continue. All right? You will paint this. Electoralists will paint it like that's so. On this hand, you've got the guy that at least has some decency. Where that is, they never tell you. And over here, you got the maniac. And the actuality is, they're both maniacs. They're both heartless automatons that do nothing but print money. And if you don't stop them, you are their conscience. If you don't stop them, they will keep doing it. And there will be blood running in the gutters of the third world. Okay? That's where the anger comes from. Because what you're seeing right now, this, yeah, but Trump, exactly. This mentality, yeah, but Trump, is how you keep a populace from reaching out and taking what it needs and what it wants from the ruling political class. When you take young people who are filled with, I have to imagine, way more fire and passion than my old ass is feeling, and you tell them, go canvas with that for a fascist. Do you know what you're creating? You're creating me. You're creating the disaffected leftist that won't go vote no matter what you tell them, because they're sick and tired of waiting for the system to hand them a reasonable, decent person to vote for. And in fact, they know that the system cannot hand them that. That's what you're creating, but you're effectively pausing what could be the greatest social movement ever. We need every young person to heed that feeling inside of them that yearns for justice, not ignore it and flush it down the skibbity toilet of electoralism. We need them to heed it, hear it, listen to it, and act upon it. Now more than ever. Okay? That's why I get angry. That's why I yell. That's why I get emotional when I argue with somebody in the chat, or I'll ban somebody who I feel like is just seething and oozing with that. That kind of like, keep spinning your tires in the mud because the best we can do kind of mentality drives me nuts, bro, because I feel so sad when I hear it. I'm like, oh my God, this person doesn't know. This person doesn't know the basic creed of leftism, that united, we cannot be defeated. The people united can never be defeated. The people unite. You know why they chant that at protests? Because it's true. It's true. Most Americans don't like this war. Most Americans have turned, the worm has turned on us continuing to furnish weapons to Ukraine. Most Americans stood up and asked for this stuff to be stopped in the right way. It'd be stopped. So you want to be politically active, but also politically impactful? You need to start looking outside of the electoral process, because that's a rich man's game. That's the rich man's party over there. The People's Party is here. Okay?
Even with the votes, it's so gerrymandered. It's absurd. It's working against you in every way.
It's another one of the things. We talk about all this stuff like it's fanciful. We need to get rid of the electoral college. We need to undo gerrymandering and have a safe and sane fucking division of county lines and stuff. We need to completely and utterly remove the icy death grip that money has on our political process, and we need to do it now. We talk about these things like, oh, they're so fanciful. Oh, we need to we get get rid of first past the post voting and institute a fucking ranked choice voting system. And it's all just a big theory crafting session. When the fact is, we could take that if we wanted it enough. They're not going to give it to us if we whine about it on Twitter. They're not going to give it to us if we stream about it and talk about how good it would be if that happened. But my guy, all we can do is vote. They're never going to give you a fucking thing if that's your mentality. You got to hit the street. And if we did, we would have it. This war in Gaza could be over in a week or less. However much time it takes people to get their shit together and get to DC, if we all descended, you know how many hundred million people are there here? 200?
In the U.S.,
yeah,
it's 330.
330 million of us. If we could get 5 million of those people to pick up stakes and go to Washington without a plan, but just let their desire fucking lead them there for justice, it'd be over in a week, guys. It's never going to be over by trying to shame Joe Biden or that wing of the party. It's never going to end. Because even if it does end in Gaza, it'll be exported somewhere else. This motherfucker cannot sit on his arsenal. He cannot sit on his billions and trillions. He can't do it. It is never coming from the Democratic Party. They will never allow you your place in power. You have to take it from them.
Yeah, it's not saying storm the Capitol. That's just saying show up and be there.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not calling for any violence. I'm calling for a non-violent political sit-in, and an apolitical one at that. Well, I don't want to be flying the fucking banner of the leftism over this. This is a people's movement. Okay? There are things outside of politics. And this needs to be one of them. And it needs to be one of them fucking like 6 months ago. So that's where I'm at, right? You want to know why I get salty, angry? That's the fucking reason, because it breaks my heart when I see somebody fucking 20 years my junior already buck broken by the system. Already convincing themselves that it's the intellectual and smart thing to do what your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents did. Just vote party line and hope for the best. Nope. That's not activism. That's not politics. That's being herded like a sheep to the slaughterhouse.
Feels like gerrymandering's designed not necessarily for any one party, but to keep it as close to 50-50 as possible.
Yes. No, that's exactly what it is. That's why neither party really wants to stop it.
Yeah. Because they can just blame the other ones.
Exactly.
Like, oh, they wouldn't work with us, you know. It's like making it impossible for any one party to take the 2/3 or whatever.
Yep.
Because our city's split into 3 different districts. One city, which is absurd.
Yeah. Not even that big of a fucking city in the grand scheme of things. Doesn't need 3 districts. The people in this city in this city can speak with one voice.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to. And there's implicit segregation that backs that gerrymandering in this city too. There are parts of this city where brown people just can't afford to come and really aren't welcome anyway. Okay? This is not working. This is their system that we're living in. We are hopeless, sad, disaffected, and bored because of them. I don't want to talk about the Kendrick shit. I don't want to, look, we are literally, I will ban you right now. You are being, I don't mean to be fucking ableist about this, but you are being autistic as fuck. In the middle of a talk that we're having, you want to bring up some stupid Kendrick Lamar beef with Drake. I will ban you if you mention it again. Don't be stupid in here, okay? I hate having to do it. I want you to hear what I have to say, but don't be fucking dumb in here, okay? You have to behave yourself in here in a way that you don't in other live stream. Get rid of this fucking idiot. Done. Anybody else? Anybody else? You can't be a skibbity toilet up in here, okay? If I'm talking about something and your chat is not about that, I'm gonna stick you. You're having a conversation with each other about what we are talking about, and that's it. Be an adult, read the room. Don't walk into a political meeting with your Pokemon cards, okay? Thank you. A little fucking pride. We can't place the entire weight of our political convictions behind a presidential candidate when neither of the options are ideal. That's what direct action is for. That's what I'm telling you, yes. We're so far beyond neither candidate is ideal. It's not even funny. Neither candidate is even close. Even close to what we need immediately. So we've been neutered politically. The system has gotten, if anything, more closed to us. And it is time to take to the streets in a massive way, like our fucking ancestors have done multiple times in this country, and get it done. Okay, all the things we take for granted now, the 40-hour work week, the 8-hour work day, those things are disappearing, and they were bought at the blood, sweat, tears, and fucking protest of your ancestors in this country, okay? In the Gilded Age. Right after the fucking Civil War, laborers in this country stood up and took what was theirs from the robber barons. Guess what? We're worse than they were. The income wealth disparity shit is higher now than it was when Jay Gould and Rockefeller owned every goddamn fucking thing and workers had nothing. And you know what happened? Workers stood up, unionized, and took it. And now you've got a 40-hour work week. Now you've got an 8-hour work day. Now you've got protections. You've got unemployment benefits. You've got all these things that are being eroded and stolen from you in real time, okay? That was given and purchased at the blood and sweat and death of your ancestors in this country. And it's time again. Just like the Gilded Age, they're not listening. It's time again. Just like the fucking civil rights era, they're not listening. It's time again. And if we don't seize it, then another generation will go by before we get another chance like this. So I'm telling you, listen to what I have to say at the very least, okay?
Wage theft is the biggest theft in this country.
Yep.
It dwarfs robberies.
Dwarfs bank robberies, dwarfs stock insider trading. It dwarfs everything. Wage theft is the biggest heist that's going on, and that means them stealing from us.
That's them saying, oh, you know, clock in a little later. Oh, we're not going to give you overtime. We're going to make you an independent contractor or whatever the fuck.
Why chance? Isn't it possible to do any time? No. Unfortunately, that's... would that it were. But something egregious like this doesn't come along but once or twice a generation. Okay? And they are working on right now to make it harder for the next generation to do this shit. So it's now or never. For you, It's now, or you see yourself in 30 years looking like I am with gray hair sprouting out of every hole on your head, right? Yelling at young people. Choose your fate. And with that, it's time for another joint. So mad. I'm just so angry. I'm so tired of this paradigm. You mind if I do it, Jay? Do you think America will block TikTok? Yes. And you want an example of Paul fucking changing his tune on something? I've changed my tune on the TikTok ban. And it wasn't hearing somebody else talk, like advocate for it. It was listening to the motherfucking vampires talk about it. I watched Anthony Blinken talking about how TikTok was going to be banned, basically because it vastly is like pro-Palestinian sentiment during this time is vastly overrepresented on TikTok than anywhere else. And I see what this is. This is a move to shut down young people's fucking social media outlet of choice. And it just functionally removes and stifles all of these pro-Palestinian videos and shit. So I was wrong. Okay? I was wrong to say, fuck it, let them ban TikTok, who cares, it's a bunch of skibbity toilet shit. I was being a boomer, I was wrong, and I shouldn't have said that. I should have thought about it harder, because upon reflection, they're using this as a maneuver to try and stifle people's voices.
I think your initial impression was just because you never really used TikTok proper.
I still don't.
You were looking at the shorts that were
right.
TikTok
I still
reposts.
don't. Right. I still don't. And I know there's a lot of skibbity toilet on TikTok. I'm not saying it's like this great place, but that is the truth. Okay. So my position on that has changed, and I was wrong. I was wrong to take the opposite position. You know, I just wasn't thinking about it from that angle. And it wasn't until I saw one of these vampire corporatists talking about how excited they are to get rid of it that I realized what was going on. So. So that's how it's done, by the way, folks, just to let you know. When you're wrong about something, it's that easy to change your mind. Now, there might be people that judge me for that. But when my mind is changed, it's changed. When I hear evidence, I change my position on things. Paul, to what extent should internet access and social media apps be restricted for kids 15 and under? The obvious, the kids can't get past whatever restrictions they currently exist. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before. I don't know if I want to get into the whole fucking thing, though. I've talked about like my ideas for making the internet a safer and more productive place, not just for children but for everybody. They seem to be pretty unpopular ideas, and I understand the reason why. But yeah, as far as the internet goes right now, I find it to be dysfunctional at best in terms of a tool to communicate with people. Um, in fact, I think that the paradigm that exists right now of one-way anonymity between content creators and their audiences is one of the most destructive and silly and time-wasting fucking things about social media. This idea that one person can be 100 people, one person can put on a different, like you can take that person who's clearly just there to disrupt and ban them, and rather than them having to go find somebody else to do that to, or maybe change their mind about it, in less than 15 seconds they're back with a brand new account like they're somebody new. And see, this is just this dysfunction, as much as people might laugh at it, prevents the internet from being a positive political tool. It prevents the internet from being used for people to organize political action and talk out politics and stuff, because when you introduce Dunning Kruger with anonymity, if you mix those two together, what you get are people who think that it is their job to disrupt every goddamn fucking conversation that happens and to pull the attention away from whatever's being talked about to them at any cost, right? And if somebody did that at a meeting of this size, there's 146 of you in here now. If there was 146 or 145 of us in here, and there was one dude who was just like, every time somebody tried to talk, he went, you know what I mean, and just stopped it, right? We would, as a collective group, go like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Well, there's a lot.
And then it would be over. Right? It would be. Then we could go about the business of talking.
I'm sorry. I was just saying a lot of content creators like you don't look at their chat anymore because they'd rather not fight
exactly
the things. So they're not communicating with their audience. They're just preaching without.
Exactly. Like this dude here. He's actually doing it now. This Paul fell off after DP guy that just got nuked was just spamming the chat. He's that guy, right? And watch, he'll be back. He was just removed from the thing because he's going every time somebody tries to talk. And he's back already. He's back already. See? This is the problem.
Especially on YouTube, it'd be such an easy fix. It's like, because all the alt accounts are tied to the same Google account. Like,
yep. They don't want to do it, though.
I know.
Dude's a weirdo, but this is what I'm talking about, right? This is a tiny live stream, 160 people in here, and there's at least got to be one or two idiots that are trying to destroy it in every way that they can. Trying to change the topic, trying to fucking interject their personal business into things, try and make it about them. If you think that the internet can be both a positive political tool and a jerk-off, skibbity toilet, anonymous jerk-off fest, you're wrong. You have to choose one, because right now it's both, and it's pretty useless. Oh, your umbrella's about to fall over. No, it isn't.
It's spinning.
Our umbrella spins on its axis to keep the wind resistance down, because like one of the problems with umbrellas that get blown away with a gust of breeze or fall over is they're not flexible enough to be able to move on their axis. This one is. So this one will move with the wind instead of fighting against it. It's also weighted with how many? It's like 100 pounds of sand at the
50.
bottom. It's 50 pounds of fucking sand.
And it's also a triple umbrella, which I don't think you guys realize.
Yeah, look. 1, 2, 3. It's a triple umbrella. Okay? Oh. Yeah. I mean, if it's real windy out here, I take it down, but this is going nowhere. It's connected to a big heavy table here, and then the table itself is loaded up with sand. It would take a fucking gust of wind that's way bigger than this to do anything to this. It rotates for a reason, yeah. Anyway. Paul, how will your message change if it becomes illegal to say Israel bad? Not at all. I'm willing to go to jail for justice. If me just speaking out against the government becomes illegal, I guess I'm gonna have to go to jail. I don't know what else to tell you.
And the thing is, if everyone does it, then they can't jail everyone.
That's the point of a mass protest movement. They can go on a college campus where there's 100 student protesters who are doing a sit-in, and they can bust heads. They can take 20 cops and go break that whole fucking thing up and bust people up. But if that 100 student protesters was 3 million, they can't bust all those heads. They can't make all those arrests. You understand? This is the power.
Like, I mean, January 6th sucked, but it was an illustration of how much more hands-off they are when it's that many people.
Yeah.
They waited to arrest everyone until afterwards.
I just had a thought that came through my head and it made my fucking gut go. One of the things the internet has done is it's made a new generation of me. You are the star of your own internet reality TV show. Your social media presence puts you at the middle of all this controversy, and it's all about you. And so that is, how hard is that going to make it for people to subvert that and say, I'm worthless alone, but as a million, we are strong. And that's by design.
We've been inoculating selfishness into everyone. That's how. That's the American paradigm. Is fuck you got.
That made my gut twist when I just made that connection, because it's just like.
That's how the unions were broken down. Is because they sold
individualism.
They sold the right to work thing. Like, they're trying to stop you from working and making you give them their money.
You see, it's fucking insane. It's absolutely skibbity insane.
The same thing with voting too, honestly.
Yeah.
It's selfishness in terms of, like, I know the right way to vote. It used to be a very personal thing where, like, everyone's like, you know, what's between them and the voting booth, it's between them and God kind of thing.
Yep. And that's all that really mattered. And that's the way it should be, because that's what voting is. It's deciding, during times of peace and relative calm, voting is deciding which flavor of corporatist you want to be running it. But when they get out of fucking control, it's time to hit the streets. You can't vote that out.
Like, I did that one time, where I voted completely contrary to what I had told other people.
Oh, yeah.
Last minute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's your right. I don't ever tell people how I vote or if I vote, really.
Yeah.
I might sit here and tell you guys, I ain't voting for Joe Biden, but that doesn't mean I ain't voting. That doesn't mean I don't vote. That doesn't mean I won't vote. And I will never tell you how I vote.
Like, you talked about before, like, the power of polling if people just lied.
Oh, yeah.
Like, put some fear into them.
Well, that's what Rashida Tlaib did with the...
with
like,
confidence.
right. It was not, well, it wasn't no confidence. It was undecided.
Or something like that.
Right. Uncommitted, or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
That gave people, you know, who otherwise probably were going to bite the bullet and vote for Joe Biden, a way to tell Joe Biden, like, nah, I don't think so.
We might not.
We probably won't.
What are you going to do about it?
And look at the power it had.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're talking about descheduling weed. You know? Like, that's going to be enough. Like, moving weed on the illegal drugs schedule down a notch. No, take it off. You want to really impress a generation? Take it off.
They're just putting it in the same category as steroids.
Not only that, but descheduling marijuana, or like moving marijuana down the schedule.
Yeah.
They do the reason they don't take it off the schedule is because it makes it real easy for Donald Trump to move it back up the schedule.
And then it's like, we gotta work to bring it down again. And
nothing's ever solved with these people.
The thing people, I think, don't realize that aren't in legal states is there's still a fuck ton of weed arrests. in California.
Oh, all over the place. There's still a black market.
Yeah.
There's still people getting busted for smuggling.
They'll show
And
like the
black
cops
markets.
will do like their busts or whatever,
yeah.
and it'll be like, oh, it's a 2
Dude,
pounds of weed.
Cops are doing like here in California, in LA,
Yeah.
plainclothes cops are doing the whole like stand by the street corner and sling weed. They'll stand like near a pot shop and be like, "Hey, bro, hey, you a tourist? Don't go in there, man. Don't go in there because you gotta pay all these taxes. You know what I mean? I got the same shit right here on me." And you go, "Okay, cool. I'll give you $30 for that. You're under arrest."
That's the power of keeping it illegal federally.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's absurd that we're still arresting people for weed in legal states, but that's what's happening.
Yep. How is that not entrapment? Because the person is going to purchase weed already. They are walking into a pot store when you flag them down, and so the intent to buy weed has been established by that.
Yeah.
It's a weaselly fucking thing.
Entrapment would be like making them feel like they had no choice.
Exactly. Or it would be literally just like going like, anybody want to do drugs? And if somebody went, yeah, you're under arrest. That's entrapment.
Yeah.
The dude has to stand there, start a conversation. Hey, you going to the weed store? Yeah, I'm going to go in there and get some.
They have
Don't
to get
go
their
in there.
wallet out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you say, oh, yes, I am going to purchase marijuana.
Without
now,
taxes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then they go, oh, okay. Well, I can give it to you without taxes if you'd like. Because your intent is already to purchase marijuana.
Yeah.
Now you can break the law if you want. Oh, I will break the law. You're under arrest. So they get around it. I think, personally, that's a very little difference between that and entrapment, as I understand it. But that's the way they get around it.
Yeah.
Because you've shown that you were out, not just a... They couldn't stand, like, in the middle of the city and do that.
Really, the only things they consider entrapment are like these, like terrorism busts, and like there's some cops that have gone too far where they like furnish people with all the materials.
Damn it. Internet is down or something.
And some people have to worry about with the online advertising too is the Fed posting.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm back. It's kind of a shame when that happens because I had a big growing audience of people in here. Yeah, I don't know. I might if the internet keeps being wonky, I'll check and see if I can like just turn it off. Do my warm up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it right until the line, but this is good for my voice.
Yeah.
No, it's not you guys, it's me for sure. And I've been having like, I'm gonna have to call down and see what the fuck is going on, because I've been having these like lag spikes on the last couple of shows where it's like everything will freeze for like 3 seconds and then it comes back.
No.
And I'm wondering if that's something that's going on with our fucking, not that it matters because we're gonna get the fuck out of here soon. But
Yeah, but it might be the routers being dumb.
is your mug DFF merch? Yeah. Well,
Merch tier merch.
it's merch tier merch. You can't get it, but yeah, this is the merch tier. This was the first thing we sent out to our merch tier.
But it's open right now if you want to get another
You wanna-
exclusive thing.
You want to join in? You gotta be a member for 3 consecutive months to get your piece of merch. But it's open now. Enrollments are open. Check out the Patreon. But yeah, this is. I mean, this is a dope mug too. It's not a cheap ass mug. This is a high quality mug, red on the inside, different colors and shit.
Yeah.
It's great.
I should have realized when you got it out the first time, we actually have another mug from that same company that's been lasting for a while. That one with you and Cricket on it. It's the same like printing company.
Yeah. What the fuck was that? That was one dude whose butt hurt, showing you what infinite free time and anonymity can do with you.
Yeah. It's absurd that Google just lets you do it in like literally 10 seconds. Like bloop, bloop. Back to the stream.
I think someone is DDoSing you. No, it's not happening.
No, there's not enough people. DDoSing is for You'd have to DDoS YouTube itself to fucking.
No, well, no. I mean, people could get,
Yeah.
conceivably could get my IP address and flood it with false requests. But I don't. I know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Versus just laggy, shitty infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
He's just making multiple accounts each time. Yeah, I mean, like, look, it took him, like, you see how long it took him to come back again, right? So it probably took him 25 seconds to go and create a new YouTube channel.
If he doesn't already have the max amount of all.
Well, a couple of times he's come in with 2 or 3 at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But as he's burning them, I think he's just creating them real quick. So he made another one, and now that one has been banned after he only spammed 1 or 2 things. But the trade-off is all he has to do is another 15 seconds of work and he's back again, right? This is one guy doing this. One dude who, you know, like, whatever. I mean, let him do his fucking thing. He's just going to get banned anyway. But, like, see how disruptive this could be if you were really in the midst, like we were 20 minutes ago, of a passionate kind of exchange. You know, and that's giving way too much power to one person in a public setting. Dude's life must be so sad. You don't know that.
It could be someone just on his lunch break.
It could be somebody who's like a political opponent of mine, who thinks that I'm destructive, who doesn't know how to argue with me, and so they're trying to stop me. It could be somebody who's fucking just bored on their break at work, and this is, you know, and maybe a little lonely, and this is kind of how they get a little charge, is getting people to talk about them. This could be somebody who's just joking. This could honestly be somebody who's like, you know, trying to help me illustrate the point, maybe. Like, I'll show Paul, I'll help Paul, I'll show, you know, I don't know. This whole thing where you want to, like, infer because a person is doing something antisocial that they don't have a life or whatever, you don't know that. And it really
takes too little effort.
Well, it gives cover to people, because I'm telling you, dude, there are people out there that wear a suit and tie that do this shit. Trolling.
Yeah.
And shit. There are people out there that are fucking, like, if you met them, they'd be buttoned down. Doctors, lawyers, corporate officers and stuff. That when they're sitting on the shitter and bored and lonely, they're fucking on some anonymous account, typing the N-word over and over.
Now, if the threshold was higher, then that would be no-lifers doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is also no-lifers. There are also greasy, fat, pimply, sweaty, stinky, vinegar-stinking fucking idiots that nobody wants to go near because they've never done a thing for themselves, living with their moms in a sour-smelling room, playing World of Warcraft all day, who are just so incapable of getting any kind of fucking feedback from other human beings. The only way they know how to do it is pissing people off on the internet anonymously. And so that's how they get there. Yes, that exists too. But don't get this picture in your head that instantly comes up of the, you know, the South Park fat wow guy. Okay? It's him, and it's the business guy that lives next door to you, and the soccer mom that lives across the way, and your doctor, and your lawyer, and your CPA, and the guy that sold you your car. It's everybody, dude.
Now, if it took 20 hours instead of 20 minutes to do
exactly.
it, then it's...
If it took you 20 hours to divest your internet presence from a Google account and create a new one, and there was a 20-hour waiting period between doing that, then you could say, okay, this is a greasy neckbeard no-lifer because they're having to put in all this fucking effort to create these things. And but no, dude, this is your next door neighbor. This is the school teacher. This is everybody, dude. Everybody is trolling. And it has destroyed your ability to have serious discourse for 10 minutes on the internet. It's destroyed.
Yeah. Even just the subreddit, like, that's even faster.
Even something that's like a microcosm like my Discord.
Yeah.
It's a constant battle to get people off the skibbity toilet.
Yeah.
When we're having a real conversation in there. And that's like social stunting, which we're talking about a whole different thing now.
Yeah.
But you know, and I don't mean to be fucking. I'm not pointing my finger necessarily at anybody that's in here, so don't take it that way. But broadly, you guys, and when I say you guys, I mean younger generations are socially fucking stunted, bro. You don't know how to look me in the eye. You don't know how to shake my hand. You don't know how to talk with me. And I'm not trying to get on you if you have social problems with that, but I tell you what, you better put an impetus on you if you have social problems with eye contact and stuff. You better really work on that. There's a lot of people that have problems with that that do it anyway because they realize the power it has in direct communication, business deals, any kind of stuff, right? The ability to communicate clearly your position is shrinking down. It's evaporating into this weird, like, anime skibbity toilet shit where all you can talk it you speak memes and you can't talk for 5 seconds without bringing up a Pokemon reference or something. It's real fucking weird, guys. And I'm dealing with it every goddamn day in my fucking shit. Trying to have a conversation with a bunch of adults, but one of them is 21 and still plays Pokemans. And it's just everything is a Charizard, everything is a Skibbity toilet. And it's just because they can at certain points. Certain people don't know how to disengage from a conversation that they feel is over their head. That's what it is.
Well, because we inoculated the selfishness.
Exactly. They can't not. It's not that I understand. It's that this is boring. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Z. That's the thought process. Okay? It's Dunning-Kruger run wild because all the people that are dumb think they're the smartest people in the country. They all think that they're special. Every last dummy in this country. It'd be one thing if they knew, like, God damn, I'm dumb. Some of them do and don't give a fuck. But most dumb people don't even know they're dumb. They think they're smart. They think they've got it together. In fact, they think they've got it more together than most other people. That's Dunning-Kruger. And it's rampant. It's rampant. That plus infinite anonymity plus this plus that equals unusable internet, unusable fucking discourse, a super powerful global tool reduced to just an avenue for sad people to troll on. Like I said, those douchebags have always existed. People that just want to disrupt other people getting work done. But in a public setting, they're pretty easy to deal with. On the internet, they're like a fucking cancer that never goes away. You can zap it with a fucking laser and another one grows, you know?
Hydra.
You're right. Cut off one head, two more sprout.
Yeah. Cut those 2 heads off, 4 more.
Ban tablets for babies. Yeah. I would say so, yeah. Hey Paul, 10 years since I last saw you. I'm 26 now. Just looking by. I wanted to say hello and thank you for the content over the years and the fun. Cool, dude. Well, welcome back. Feel free to stick around, man. We're still out here doing it. Check out DFF too. I still do a show. Check out Deep Fat Fried on YouTube. We're going to do a show today in a couple hours. Lack of parenting. They're being it's not just that though. It's lack of parenting. It's like, okay, one of the most worrying statistics, right, is when they ask kids what they want to be. And when I say kids, I mean grade school, middle school kids, right? If they go right now and ask kids, what do you want to be, you know what the most popular answer is? Influencer.
Yeah.
I want to be Bella Hadid. I want to be what's her name, you know, one of the Khloe Kardashian. I want to be, you know, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a vlogger. I want to be like Mr. Beast. I want to be like Hassan. I want to be like Vosh. I want to be like this, that, the other, right? And that is the saddest fucking statistic, bro. You know what you know what it was for my generation?
Actors.
Astronaut.
Oh, astronaut.
Astronaut, police officer,
Yeah.
those sorts of ambitions, right? Now it's, I want to sit on YouTube and make money for doing nothing. And it's like,
I mean, even people with the delusions of like everyone could be an actor are brought to earth more quickly.
for kids in my, you can look at this. This is
Yeah.
all out there. They do these statistical polls every
Yeah.
year to see what the generations are interested in. My generation, children of the 80s, people that were born in 1980 or before, they wanted to be astronauts. Because think about it. The moon landing was a scant 10 years before I was, or 15 years, you know what I mean? Like the 70s and the late 60s, that was when the moonshot happened. And so the kids of that of those people, they looked up to their parents like every child does, and they went, "I want to be an astronaut." That an astronaut was the most common answer. And now the most common answer is, "I want to be an influencer." And you know what? It's easier to be an astronaut. You have more chance of being a fucking astronaut if you apply yourself than being a fucking influencer. Truth bomb.
Now it's harder, but it's more likely.
Oh, being an astronaut is way harder
Yeah.
in terms of the work that you have to do and the knowledge you have to accrue.
Yeah.
But the entry door is easier to get through.
Yeah. Dude, there's still what has taken them so long to get people to the moon again? I feel like it's just getting delayed constantly.
Because it's not a priority anymore. Nobody fucking cares anymore.
And we're past the age of cowboy astronauts. People don't realize how.
People don't revere them anymore, so they're no longer needed.
Yeah.
They're not a national symbol of power anymore. You know what it is now? What car are you driving?
Mm-hmm.
What clothes are you wearing? How up to date is your phone? Do you have the brand new iPhone 29 XT Plus? Oh, I do. That's what matters now.
Mm-hmm.
Not, holy fuck, you went to the moon? People don't give a fuck anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, check this out. I met a dude what walked on the moon, lol. And then it's over for them. They go down the road trying to be Bella Hadid.
Which one was it that like attacked someone being dumb about the moon landing? Was it what's his name?
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
He knocked somebody's fucking teeth out. He's the guy was like, when are you gonna tell people that you didn't land on the moon? He was like, guy, get out of my fucking face. And the guy was like, you're a liar, you're a cheat, and you're a swindler. And he turned around and gave him a look and then just went like old man punch, too. Big loping overhand, hit him right in the mouth. It's like, you son of a bitch.
Don't mess with those guys. Those guys
Those old motherfuckers came from a different generation.
They went
don't pop your
to
mouth.
the moon on a prayer.
And you know what? I try and warn these fucking internet kids about this subtly as much as I can. Those old guys, they're not gone. That generation people were made a little different, but those types of people are still around and way younger than Buzz Aldrin. It's not just oldsters.
Yeah.
If you keep living like a meme lord, you're gonna meet the wrong one day, and you're gonna end up needing implants in your mouth. Because some people will just fucking mollywop you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, dude, I come from right at the end of that. I would say the 70s creeping into the 80s was pretty much the age of enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
It's like people stopped kind of brawling in the streets and started being pussies. Dude, there are still people that were raised that way. Their dads are that way, their mom's that way, and if you mouth off to them in public or fucking come cross purposes with them in the wrong way because you're trying to be a funny man, they'll just knock you the fuck out. They don't give a fuck about a charge. They'll gladly put their arms behind their back and go do an assault charge to shut your fucking mouth up and teach you a lesson.
Dude, I feel like some of the even really old guys could still throw a punch. I think.
You would be shocked.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at old guys because they move slower.
Yeah.
Right? Those old fucking grizzly muscles are still in there.
Yeah. They just have bad
They
joints.
move slower because when they move faster, they pay for it the next day and they're sore.
Yeah.
But if they want them knock your fucking, they'll be sore up tomorrow. Yeah. A lot of these oldsters will knock you right the fuck out. Look at the knuckle. Check out my dad's hands the next time. He's got mechanic's hands. Big old fucking ham fist.
Yeah.
When he makes a fist, those knuckles are just jagged.
Yeah.
I'm not saying my dad could kick anybody on the planet's ass, but he could mollywop somebody in the mouth and has before. It's just like a lot of you memesters, man. I'm afraid for you guys. Once your mom kicks you off the skibbity, and you got to go live in a dorm or something, you might be rooming with a dude that was raised exactly how I'm talking. And you might go like, skibbity, skibbity, blah, 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 you know, or do some stupid shit to him that you just think is a meme. And he's not going to ask you to stop. He's going to crack you in the mouth. And you will stop then, trust me. You'll stop. And you don't want to have to learn that way. See, I've never had to learn that way. And one of the reasons I've never had to learn that way is because I watched so many people learn that way. Oh my God, guys. The amount of times I could tell you, I watched somebody mouth off and get it. Like Will Smith, yeah. I hate to say it. But there was no way that, see, here's the thing. Like, and I'm not saying Will Smith was right. But there's no way that Will Smith slap would have happened in 1960. If a man started walking up to you like that unannounced and wasn't making his intent known that he was going to shake your hand, Chris would have fucking made that calculation and either ran or got his dukes up. The only way somebody stands there while an angry husband walks up to you giggling and smiling like nothing's about to happen is now. And Chris found out. He fucked around and found out. Not for nothing, Will Smith is one of those dudes. Slap you right in your face. Probably lucky he didn't get knocked the fuck out, honestly. The way he was just standing there sheepishly like nothing was about to happen. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not trying to be brawl like Billy Badass. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a dude that'll pop you in your mouth over nothing. Or over a perceived slight or whatever the fuck. I'll de-escalate until it gets funky. And I'm not really a fighter. So this is not me trying to be Mr. But I'm just letting you know. They're out there. And they don't always look like Billy Badasses either. Well, you don't have to discipline yourself on the internet. You don't learn the lesson. Like, okay, so let's say that like a 16-year-old decides he's going to go to a political meeting. And when he gets there, the dude that's talking is boring him. And he goes, skibbity wibbity, hibbity dibbity dibbity. He does what they did in here, right? And everybody turns around and says, hey, young man, why don't you get the fuck out of here? And if he doesn't leave, they grab him by the scruff of his little neck and they move him out. That feeling is what we call a lesson. That feeling of like, oh, I was just ostracized and I'm powerless. That's what we call a lesson. And a lot of times, people will learn that lesson and go like, maybe I shouldn't go to these things and skibbity dibbity, hibbity jibbity, because it makes me feel bad. And then they develop as a person. That never happens on the internet. You're never gone. Nobody can ever get away from you if they want to. You can make a million alts. There's no consequence. See what I'm saying? It's kind of a self-solving problem in public that can't be solved on the internet. But the internet is the most important step up in that public space dynamic ever. Vosh turned hella red when he got yelled at by Paul. He did. He was mad. Homeboy was mad as fuck. I would have been too. Called him a rich Beverly Hills fucking bitch boy to his face. And he knows it's true. That's why he got red. because he knows he's a pampered, rich, goblin short stack, stroking, horse cock sucking, fucking pampered piss baby from Beverly Hills. He's had everything handed to him. And people treat him like he's some kind of fucking erudite or whatever. He's not. Just a fucking rich kid with an overblown ego, and he doesn't get told that to his face very often, and I did. One of the things that you'll learn is that people from privilege love to LARP blue-collar aesthetics. They love to act like they know what the value of a day's work is, even though they haven't done it. They love to drape themselves in that aesthetic, but when it comes time to fucking put up or shut up to get those people what they need, they're never there. They're never in the crowd because they don't believe it. They just use it to get under your skin. They use it to get past your natural defenses. And when somebody fucking confronts them and tells them, like, I know a rich boy when I smell one, and you're a rich boy, you've never worked a job, how are you? You know how he revealed? He told us he'd never worked a job. He said, well, at least we have Saturdays, my dude. Can I ask any of the working people if that makes sense to any of them? Because it didn't me when I was working. Saturday was another day of the week to me. Is it you? I want to hear what you have to say about that. You guys enjoying your luxurious every week Saturday? Yeah, well, the reason he thinks Saturdays are off is because the only thing he knows about work is when his dad had to go into the opulent fucking Hollywood office and work. Those are 9 to 5s. Those high-end, rich boy desk jobs, those are 9 to 5s, and you do get your sweet-ass long weekends and shit. Everybody else is out there humping and grinding. Why do you think when you go down to the Starbucks to get yourself a mocha frappa latte there in Beverly Hills, that there's somebody there to serve it to you? If everybody gets, see, just like the fucking disconnection from a worker's reality, you can't fake it. And I smelled it like a cheap suit. And I called it out, and he probably hasn't heard that straight to his face from a motherfucker, maybe ever in his life. I can't recall anybody like that he's debated with calling him a rich white bread pussy, doesn't know what it's like to work a job, daddy's little fucking bauble, Lord Fauntleroy, born with a fucking bejeweled spoon up his ass. He's probably never heard that out of a working man's mouth in his life. He heard it from me, didn't he? Because I smell it. That's why he got red. Nobody had ever had the temerity to check his fucking rich boy privilege. Happy to be of service. My name is Paul Zigo. That's what I do for a living. I call out LARPers on the left, and I ask when they're gonna stop. Vosh's pampered ass wouldn't make it fucking 20 days in the shoes of any day laborer in this country. You pick. You pick. If you transplanted Vosh out of his posh fucking life and put him in yours, he wouldn't last 20 fucking days before he went, Daddy! This motherfucker doesn't know what it is to work. He doesn't know what it is to have his ass chapped. He doesn't know what it is that you have to subjugate yourself to capital to work for it. This motherfucker has lived high on a fucking golden horse his whole life, and he wants to look down his nose at workers and go, suck it up and vote for Biden, you ML tanky LARPer. And he wants nobody to call him out for it. And you know what? For most of his fucking life, nobody did. Till he met me. Till he met me. And I told him right to his face what his pompous little ass was. And oh, that got him fucking worked up. Well, then manage your finances better, my dude. What a comeback. What a comeback, banker. You know where that's a comeback? Beverly Hills. And he wanted to act like it was a meme just to trigger me. Yeah, right. You know why that came out of your mouth, and so do I, motherfucker. You know why that came out of your mouth, Cal Poly. I know what Cal Poly is. I know what the fucking school you went to is, bruh. Okay? Rich boy school. $200,000 a fucking semester type of joint. And mommy and daddy fucking splashed out, didn't they? Woo! Got you a useless education. Good job. That was the first thing that came to your mind. That's why you said it. Manage your finances better. Okay, rich boy. How about I manage your finances? Because you think your head's going to be fucking... You think you're going to be holding a bullhorn at the head of the fucking coming revolution? You're going to be posted up at home hoping they don't come for your shit. Like the rest of the rich fucks. In omni patris et filii spiritus sancti. There you go. You've been blessed. Now get out of my fucking face. Hey, the Vosh has more subs than DFF. Vosh has more subs than DFF because Vosh got his subs by sucking balls. And that's just straight up the truth. Vosh got his subs because he coddled up and sucked up to a bigger personality than him. So just like everything in his life, he was elevated to a position beyond his station. He coddled up and sucked up and used his infinite free time to stalk a streamer named Destiny. Destiny is a guy that engages with his audience, so pulled Vosh in. Vosh got to use his college-educated fucking vocabulary to impress a bunch of 12-year-olds watching Destiny, and scalped his audience off of that. Buon buon. Cope and seethe, homeboy. Cope and seethe and spam. Cope, seethe and spam, homeboy. Just telling you the truth, buddy. See what happens when you speak a little truth? Well, you did better. I'm gonna spam it, though. What did you just accomplish, bud? Yeah. As soon as Destiny was no longer useful for him, so he did the same thing to Hassan. Because he coddled Hassan's nuts, too. Right now, as we speak, I think Vosh is live. And I bet if you go look at him, I haven't seen his fucking... I've been sitting here with you guys on my fucking phone, right? Somebody go check his live stream. Is he dressed like Hassan? Is he wearing an absurd, overpriced, unisex sweater? Or some kind of, like, unique, vintage college collar t-shirt that probably cost 80 or 90 bucks? Go look. Go look. I'll wait for the reports. What's he wearing? Go check and give me a report, a couple of you. I just want to know. Haven't looked. How much you want to bet he's dressed like Hassan Piker because he's trying desperately to leech the aesthetic of Hassan Piker? This is Vosh. There is no Vosh. What you know as Vosh is simply an abstraction. While he might hold his hand out and shake your hand and you might feel warm flesh gripping yours, there's simply nothing there. Plain brown shirt, damn. Didn't catch him LARPing Hassan today. Well, check tomorrow. Check tomorrow. Or check the tag on that t-shirt and see how much he popped for it, because it might be more expensive than you think. Might be trying to dispel the rumors. I did just start publicly calling him out for wearing an alpaca sweater. For wearing a $2,000 alpaca sweater on his stream in the middle of fucking spring. Maybe he's listening. He is trying to make Biden look good, though. Of course he is. He just got done calling him a fascist. He literally just got done watching Biden talk about the protest movement getting crushed by the police and asking if he's going to do anything about it. Biden basically said, nope, lol, and what did Vosh say about it? Biden's a fascist. Fascistic rhetoric. That's fascist. Unironically fascist. No different than Marjorie Taylor Greene. No different than Lauren Boebert. He said that fucking the Democratic Party is the moderate wing of fascism. And now he's over there coddling the fascist nuts. Give me a fucking break, bro. If you don't read everything you need to from that alone, I really don't know that I can help you. All of the aesthetic stuff that I've been talking about, the only reason I'm bringing that up is because Vosh has to put it on because he never had it. The one thing that a rich boy never had was a connection to other people that comes from working with them. And so the rich boy puts it on, but the rich boy has communication problems. The rich boy is used to other wealthy people just nodding their bobbleheads along when he says something stupid or demonstrably false. And when somebody like me comes along and points it out, it gets him fucking boiling. Because you know what he wants to say to me? Not manage your finances better. It's get away from me, you plebeian. What do you know? I went to Cal fucking Poly. You know who my daddy is? That's what he wants to fucking say to me. Get out of here, you working class piece of shit. What do you know? Where's your college degree, motherfucker? Get out of my alpaca fucking sweater's way. That's what he wants to say to me. You know what comes out? Oh, perhaps you should manage your finances better, my dude. That's his way of saying it. Okay? That's why we talk about the aesthetic. That's why we talk about the LARPing aesthetic. Okay? You want to know how I know this, too? Because I used to serve over 100 Voshes a day at my job, and I did it for 8 fucking years. Okay? I worked at a coffee shop that at the time was seen as kind of upscale and was in a better neighborhood, so a lot of white, upper crusty, multiple fucking millionaire type people come in. And I had to wait on this motherfucker 100 times a day for 8 years, okay? He can't hide from me. I know what wealth looks like. I know what they wear. I know what they put on. I know how they speak. I know the aesthetic that they drape themselves in. I know the cars they drive. I know the things that are important to them because I talked to them and worked for them 100 times a day for 8 years. So he can't put up the fucking mask for me. Okay, if I've done anything in my life, it's study wealth and privilege. Okay? I know what it looks like. I know what it smells like. And it drips off of his ass. The privilege, the wealth, never having to work, never having to fucking fall down on his face and pick himself up because daddy's money was always there. It's okay, little Voshy. It's okay. Let daddy splash out again. And it's made him a weak little fucking milk-fed piece of veal. And nobody's ever told it to his face. All these motherfuckers engage with him like he's some kind of sagacious fucking leftist wizard. And nobody thinks to call him out for his obvious stinking wealth and privilege. But me. I'm happy to do that. You know why? Because I hate a rich leftist LARPer. I watch them all the time. They drive eco-drive fucking Lexuses and they go, oh, we must say, do you have paper straws? Excuse me. Excuse me. Does Starbucks offer a paper straw option? That's a shame because these do so much damage to the environment. Honey, get the kids, load them up into the Escalade. Doesn't work with me. I've seen what you limousine liberals are about, and you ain't got nothing but fucking republicanism on the brain, bro. You want the status quo. Well, I'm not an agent of the status quo. I never will be. Because you know what? The status quo chewed me up and spit me out. Excuse me. That's how they say it to you. Excuse me. Think about that. Excuse me. That's when they're going to tell you how leftist they are. That's always how it is. Excuse me. Are these paper napkins recycled? Do you happen to know? No, I don't happen to know. That's a shame. Starbucks really should do something about that. Anyway, Cecilia, gather up the 8 kids and load up the giant microbus. The giant Mercedes microbus. We've got to get to the private airport in time to catch our private flight. I know these motherfuckers. I smell the reek of them. When they walk into the room, my face just darkens because they're lost. They never had to struggle for it, and so they can't fucking represent it. And that's Vosh. It's him to a T. And I called it way back fucking 3-4 fucking years ago. And everybody said I had VDS. This motherfucker literally was just talking about how Joe Biden is a fascist, and when I ask people to check on him, he's talking up Joe Biden. He's got no principles other than the status quo. Because you know what the status quo allows? Daddy's money to keep fucking and making babies. So that when daddy kicks off, Vosh never has to worry about working. Anything outside of that is secondary, it's aesthetic, it's a LARP. As long as his money is okay, Vosh is just fine to funnel you into the DNC. There's a bee. I don't fear a bee. It's okay. Even in the argument, he said, I'm rich, I can leave when things get too out of hand, like that was a pwn or something. Right. Exactly. Not only is that not a pwn, that's him fucking self-reporting. He's telling you that if the shit hits the fan, and it's hit the streets, and live my principles, or scurry like a fucking moneyed interest rat, I'm doing the latter. And people still cozy up to this motherfucker like he's got their best interests in mind. They still listen to him when he voter shames people into continuously throwing away their fucking political activism into the DNC. I don't understand how he has such obsessive fans. It's bizarre. Well, I'll explain it to you, and this is like as far as I'll go with it, right? People, he said it as if you were in the same position. Oh, the rich thing? Yeah. And he doesn't know I'm not rich. I think he just assumes that because we have a podcast, we're rich like he is. We're not. We're not. We have nowhere near the amount of money Vosh does, and we never probably will. I cannot and would not flee this country if the shit hits the fan. If the shit hits the fan for whatever it's worth, this old broken ass fucking dude with a fucked up back and two fucked up knees is gonna be there screaming his voice hoarse with the rest of you as we all get gunned down, okay? That's my fucking fate if it comes to that. Period. Are you middle class? Yes. I would say that at this point, I have what I would consider to be a comfortable middle class income. Yes, I would feel comfortable saying that. Most of my life, I was lower class. I spent 8 years working at Starbucks. I moved from Starbucks to the school district. I was a tech support guy. I lifted computers for another fucking 8 years and set up the testing environment for Common Core and supported the laptops and tablets and projectors and Promethean boards and etc. And I ran myself ragged for another 8 years doing that. This is my highest paying job ever by a factor of 2 or 3, I think. I've never made anywhere near what I make. And I would say that right now I would qualify if I were to tell you what I make. I mean, I don't want to do that just simply because number one, I don't know yet. My taxes are still being done. I don't know what I made last year. And number two, like you can just look it up, right? I said I'm middle income. Go look at what that constitutes. I'm in there. During the DP days, y'all were upper class. Don't say y'all. People assume that like, okay, so let me tell you guys something, then I gotta go, okay? There's an assumption that happens when it comes to me being part of DP that I was splashing out rich like the other guys were, okay? Not true, all right? I made barely any fucking money the whole time I was on DP. I was basically spending the entire paycheck that I got from DP just paying the rent in the city I had to live in because I wanted to be on DP. Okay, so if you create a show, imagine that you and your best friend create a podcast and it gets big, right? And then another dude, you have a dude on, and you go like, oh, we want to bring that guy on the show. You do not go like, here you go, dude. Here's 33% of the show. That's bullshit. You carried the show. That's not how it works, bro. It's not bullshit. I was a working contracted performer on a show that I did not build, so I was not seeking 33% of that show. If I was, they never would have hired me. That's retarded. It's retarded. It doesn't work that way, bro. I made barely any money when I was on that show. And I made nothing after that show for a long time. And that's the truth. As it stands now, yeah, I'm a middle class guy. For sure. That being said, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Make sure you watch the show tonight. Coming up at 2 o'clock PST. You can figure out your own time zone. We'll be going live on Onion Nuggets. I'll see you there.